Welcome to this evening's virtual family council meeting. My name is Jamie Rose. I will be your virtual meeting coordinator this evening. We're going to begin our meeting by reviewing our confidentiality reminder. Please refrain from using the name of your loved one. Do not name specific facilities. Please use a nursing home or the personal care home to present to the group. If you need specific assistance, please use the chat feature to state which county you are in, and we will get you connected to your assigned ombudsman. And a reminder, these calls have public access and are designed for family members and friends of residents in long-term care facilities. Our meeting agenda this evening, we are going to get our virtual meeting tips from Jay, and then we'll turn it over for a life program overview, and then we'll finish up the meeting with our upcoming meeting topic. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jay for our virtual meeting tips.
Thank you, Miss Rose. Hi, everybody. You've all been placed in mute upon entry. We'll open the lines in a little bit so that you're able to share. If you would like to speak or have a question, please use the raise hand feature. Once you raise your hand, we'll know to acknowledge you and unmute your line. The chat feature is at the bottom of your screen. If you have a question for the presenter, please message the chat moderator and they will ensure your question is asked. If you need to step away, you can stop sharing your camera by clicking on the camera icon at the bottom of your screen. And you can click on it again to start sharing your camera again. And finally, any concerns or questions can be directed to yours truly at the State Ombudsman Office. The telephone number is 717-783-8975 or by email at LTC-ombudsman@pa.gov. Jamie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Chris Miller for our presentation on the LIFE program.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us as we talk about the LIFE program. We hope that the information that we share with you today proves beneficial for yourself, a loved one, or just someone that you know. We'll go through the presentation, and then at the end, we'll have an open Q&A session, as Jay mentioned, and hopefully address all your questions then. So joining me today is Greg DeSarro. He's our Executive Director for the LIFE program. Greg, do you have a few words for us?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. As Chris mentioned, my name's Greg DeSarro. I'm an executive director for Albright Life. I've been with Albright for the past 6 months. Prior to that, my entire career has been focused around long-term care. I've spent prior years working as a nursing home administrator. And I immediately, found a lot of similarities working for a LIFE program. As we share the same interests in taking care of individuals that are nursing home eligible. It's the transition to working with a LIFE program has been pretty awesome because we're responsible for touching the lives of many different people across various counties in the state, rather than just your residents in a nursing facility. So it's my pleasure to speak with you all today and share a little bit about Albright Life and LIFE programs in particular.
Thank you, Greg. And my background, I've been in senior care for a little over a decade, started with home care, and then really moved into the Albright marketing position only about a month ago. But the LIFE program is very dear and near to me because had I known about this program 12, 15 years ago, we could have kept my father out of a nursing home and kept him in his home. So I'm looking very forward to continuing my career, my journey with Albright Life, and just helping the people in the community find a solution to age in place. So a little bit of background about LIFE. The LIFE program is a comprehensive medical and support services program that can help people with complex medical conditions remain in their homes, which I think most of us would like to do. We'd like to age in place, be with family, be with the people that love us, care about us, and that we feel comfortable with. Life covers all Medicare and Medicaid approved services. The Life program is administered by the United States Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which also regulates the nursing facilities. And in all states except Pennsylvania, Life is called PACE. So PACE is an acronym for Pace of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly, where Life is the acronym for Living Independence for the Elderly. And those who qualify for Life, so if you're 55 years or older, you would meet the state's criteria for nursing home care, but can live safely at home with Albright Life's care and support services in place, and are eligible for Medicare and or Medicaid with certain income criteria. So those would be the primary qualifiers for a Life participant. And Greg, who has been spending his time in our Lancaster Center, can share a little bit about just one of the activities that we've done in our Albright community in Lancaster.
Yeah. So highlighted on our slide here is one of our participants recently just celebrated her 102nd birthday, which is just a huge monumental milestone to surpass 100 years of age. But in particular, individuals like our participant here really can benefit from our program because we're assisting, Life programs are assisting them in living independently. In this situation, she still lives at home with her family. She attends our day center about 4 days per week. So in that aspect, she's able to socialize, she's able to receive different programming that meets her needs in particular. And as I previously shared during the introduction, Life programs care for individuals that are nursing home eligible. So Life programs have the ability to touch many individuals. The fact that it's just not in the four walls of a nursing home, we're able to reach many people throughout a county. In our situation here in Lancaster, it's a massive county. So that we touch many people's lives all the way from Quarryville all the way up to Elizabethtown, east and west. It's many people can benefit from our program. We help them age in place. And yeah, this is just an awesome example. Our participant that turned 102 years of age, an awesome example of how Life programs can help an individual age in place and avoid moving through institutionalized living.
So we have a short video here, and this video really depicts the experience of a life candidate. It shows the different support professionals, the different services that we offer, really how we're, again, helping our seniors age in place, improving quality of life, really enhancing their well-being. So we've asked Jamie to play through the video 2 times, just to give you an opportunity to see the different stages, the process when a candidate is interested, someone's interested, up through the enrollment. Thank you, Jamie.
Albright Life, living independence for the elderly. Meet Mary, an ideal candidate for Albright Life. Mary is 78, has congestive heart failure, spends most of her time in the house, and struggles to stay healthy and safe. On Thursday, Mary doesn't feel well when she wakes up and stays in bed most of the day. By Friday, she's having difficulty breathing and calls for an ambulance. A day later, Mary returns home, worried about the next episode. Mary's son learns about Albright Life, a care coordination and medical services program. He makes an appointment with the enrollment coordinator, who reviews the financial eligibility components of the program, and together, he and Mary learned that Albright Life supports people who are 55 or older, live in life's service area, can safely live at home with life's services, meet their area agency on aging's eligibility criteria. A typical life candidate may have frequent trips to the ER or frequent hospitalizations, complex or chronic conditions, need for medication management, and a desire to remain in the comforts of home. Mary will be supported by a team of professionals at the Albright Life Center that includes the Albright Life physician, nurse, home care services coordinator, social worker, dietitian, physical, occupational and speech therapists, activities coordinator, and transportation driver. Life participants have the option to attend the Life Center for social engagement, where they can also receive fresh hot meals and snacks. Mary agrees to receive her care through Albright Life, and the enrollment coordinator manages the process from there. Let's check back in with Mary now that she's a Life participant. Mary has been receiving physical therapy to help her balance and mobility for several weeks and has gotten to know the Albright Life staff. Today, when Mary wakes up feeling under the weather, she dresses and waits for the Albright Life transportation driver. During lunch at the Life Center, Mary tells a certified nursing assistant that she feels tired. The CNA takes Mary's blood pressure and alerts the physician in the Life clinic, who prescribes a new medication that is provided on site. Mary feels less anxious, knowing that she has a team of people looking out for her well-being. Learn more about Albright Life and our service areas at albrightlife.org. Albright Life, living independence for the elderly. Meet Mary, an ideal candidate for Albright Life. Mary is 78, has congestive heart failure, spends most of her time in the house, and struggles to stay healthy and safe. On Thursday, Mary doesn't feel well when she wakes up and stays in bed most of the day. By Friday, she's having difficulty breathing and calls for an ambulance. A day later, Mary returns home, worried about the next episode. Mary's son learns about Albright Life, a care coordination and medical services program. He makes an appointment with the enrollment coordinator, who reviews the financial eligibility components of the program, and together, he and Mary learn that Albright Life supports people who are 55 or older, live in life's service area, can safely live at home with life's services, meet their area agency on aging's eligibility criteria. A typical life candidate may have frequent trips to the ER or frequent hospitalizations, complex or chronic conditions, need for medication management, and a desire to remain in the comforts of home. Mary will be supported by a team of professionals at the Albright Life Center that includes the Albright Life physician, nurse, home care services coordinator, social worker, dietitian, physical, occupational and speech therapists, activities coordinator, and transportation driver. Life participants have the option to attend the Life Center for social engagement, where they can also receive fresh hot meals and snacks. Mary agrees to receive her care through Albright Life, and the enrollment coordinator manages the process from there. Let's check back in with Mary now that she's a Life participant. Mary has been receiving physical therapy to help her balance and mobility for several weeks and has gotten to know the Albright Life staff. Today, when Mary wakes up feeling under the weather, she dresses and waits for the Albright Life transportation driver. During lunch at the Life Center, Mary tells a certified nursing assistant that she feels tired. The CNA takes Mary's blood pressure and alerts the physician in the Life clinic, who prescribes a new medication that is provided on site. Mary feels less anxious, knowing that she has a team of people looking out for her well-being. Learn more about Albright Life and our service areas at albrightlife.org.
Thank you, Jamie, for showing that video 2 times. It just gives a really good view, I think a summary of really the effort I don't know if I want to say effort, but time we take with a life candidate to make sure that we walk them through the process and we have the team together that can, really help make the best decisions to meet their medical needs. So on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we do, the benefits of life. So I'll ask Greg to sort of interject here as we get through each bullet point. So key benefits of life, we have a small caseload for personalized care.
Right. And when we think about personalized care in a situation for a life center participant, when they call in, there was a good example of Mary in the video. If Mary were to call into a life center and reach a member of a life team, they would know exactly who they're talking to, so that they can, so that the life center can meet the needs of that individual. Myself in particular, I go to a physician's office. I may be one of several thousand patients that physician's office takes care of. Life centers are a little bit different because of the personalized approach. There might only be a couple hundred folks enrolled in a life program, and there's an interdisciplinary team at that life program, that every life program for that matter, through regulations, every life program has to have an interdisciplinary team, medical director, program assistants who are CNAs, nurse practitioners, all three disciplines of therapy, social work, transportation, activities and programming, you name it. You think about the services that are offered in a nursing home, life programs have, and that's kind of how care plans are structured from those interdisciplinary team members, structure a care plan to make sure that it's as personalized as possible. So it's a long-winded example, but yeah.
No, that's great, because the care team working together and seeing clients at the life centers means that they can spot issues quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So where a family member perhaps might not see mom from Monday through Friday, if we're picking up the participant and they're spending time in the life center, and then we're able to see if there's a decline in a condition or there's, something new medically that pops up. And again, we can address it immediately on the spot. There are no prescriptions or copays, no prescription copays and no copays for medically necessary services, and transportation to life center and medical appointments. So I think transportation is huge, Greg. If you want to talk a little bit about the transportation service that we offer.
Right. I mean, anytime when an individual ages, sometimes that means relinquishing their driving capabilities. And the fact of the matter is sometimes it's tough. The elder community, it may be tough for them to find transportation from a loved one, family member, friends. So that's when they turn to a life program. And that's a huge selling point for a life program, because being able to know when and where, what time you'd be picked up, what time you'd be dropped off, so that all of your medical needs are taken care of, that's huge. And it allows individuals that qualify for the program to rest easy knowing that they're going to be able to reach that appointment on time and their needs are taken care of.
Centralized services at the life centers, as Greg mentioned earlier, medical, therapy, dental, social work, just socialization, meals. And of course, if there's things that are required at home, the life program gets involved in supporting those as well. And social work and coordination services help schedule appointments, navigate community resources, and address the needs at home. So it really is an all-inclusive program to meet the needs of the senior, to ensure their safety, give the family peace of mind, knowing that their loved one is being taken care of.
Right. And life programs do have the ability to provide, it's a center-based program. I mean, there is other options for home-based services as well if a participant qualifies. So, I mean, life programs have many avenues covered to make sure that their participants' needs are being met.
And I think, Greg, as we've talked about recently, just the medical components. So if they need a podiatrist, if they need dental, if they need vision, we have that interdisciplinary team right there to assess those needs and
Mhm.
make those recommendations, whether we take them to the appointments or we're bringing them in.
Mhm. Yeah,
Chris and
routinely there's regularly scheduled specialist visits that take place at the Life Center, so that if it's time for an individual to see a dental provider or podiatrist, optometrist, audiologist, those services are pretty much, there's a schedule, and every participant would know when and where that appointment would take place.
Chris and Greg, this is Jeannie, the chat moderator. I have a couple of questions that are in the chat from Janine Ferrari. How are Albright and Leading Age affiliated?
So Leading Age is the not-for-profit association that if you're a nonprofit organization that represents long-term care organizations, 9 times out of 10 you would be affiliated with Leading Age. It's an advocacy group, so we as an organization have entered into an agreement with Leading Age to be involved any way we can.
Okay, and the next question is there ever a point where Life team members would meet with the clients in their home or visit their home?
Yes, if a participant has those needs to be seen in their home, we have a 24/7, 365 obligation as a life care provider to meet the needs, the medical needs of the participant. So if that means Mary would call our on-call number at 1 or 2 in the morning, she would get a member of the life program. And if that meant seeing her in her home or providing direction to her to avoid a hospitalization or something along those lines, that would occur definitely.
Thank you.
Certainly. That wraps up that slide, correct, Chris?
Yes, so the next slide just leads us into questions. Which I think, yes.
We have a question from Linda Korjeski, that Life Geisinger Scranton closed the Adult Day Center. Do participants come into the center on a regular basis?
Participants do come into the center on a regular basis. I can speak about Albright Life just because I work for the organization. We decided post-COVID to open our centers. It was April of 2022, so this past April. Obviously, with COVID precautions and the community transmission rates, there was a need to stop the spread of COVID, which organizations decided to close their day centers. It could, if a life program throughout the state has decided to have their centers closed, that might be because the COVID transmission rate is currently high. Or there might be another reason, but I'm currently privy to Albright Life, and we are open 5 days a week from 8 to 4:30 p.m. And if our participants have a desire to attend our program, I think there's tons of value to attending the program. Just that example that was on a previous slide of our participant turning 102, I think we brought a lot of longevity. She was she's been our participant for over 5 years now, and attending the center is just a wonderful thing.
Another question from Carol Diefenbaugh. How are you paid?
How are we paid?
Yes, how are you paid for your services?
Okay, we receive funding from both the federal and state government, so CMS and the state level. If an individual is nursing home eligible, it's an all-inclusive plan, and there's no out of pocket costs to go along with that.
To the consumer.
I'm sorry?
No out-of-pocket costs to the consumer.
To the consumer, that's correct.
All righty. Next question, how do you explain a state recovery to prospective members who own homes? From Barb in Pittsburgh.
So Greg, I can't answer that. I don't know if you can. That's certainly something that I've seen some brochures on that from the Department of Human Services, but that's a question that I can get an answer for, but I don't have an answer for that right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
That's fine.
I agree.
We'll follow up with that then with you.
Sure.
From Nancy Civitak, do life members have to choose a particular network of physicians? Can they keep their current doctors and other ancillary caregivers?
So the short answer to that is life programs do have the ability to have participants or prospective participants choose a certain provider they would like to see. However, there's a process. A life program would have to contract with that provider. So although, you know, as long as that individual expresses a desire to see a certain individual, the life program could lay the groundwork to enable them to do so. Life programs do have a medical director on staff that acts as the PCP for all participants involved in the program. But there's been certain situations for programs across the state and across the nation where a participant could continue to see their provider that they've known throughout their life, see them on a regular basis. Every program would be different. I know Albright Life has made arrangements to do so.
I think that that's all the questions that are in the chat. Carol, are there any hands?
No, I don't see any hands, but I just typed in a question.
Go ahead, Carol.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just wondering, I'm sure you are mandated to have a certain number of CNAs per client. Is that the same as like in a nursing home or? what
I
are you-
know in nursing homes have like PPD requirements per patient day, requirements for staffing. Life programs do not have specific staffing requirements. However, there was adult day center regulations that are out there. Many programs adhere to a 1 to 7, 1 CNA to 7 participants as like a guideline. And I'd say we definitely adhere to that as well, which is, I think that's more care and attention from the nursing homes that I've walked in. I think attending the day center 1 to 7 is pretty good care.
Another question, how can people locate their local life program?
Local life programs can be viewed online at npaonline.org. There's a interactive map on that website. And if you click on the state of Pennsylvania, it would pull up, there's 52 life programs throughout the state, and it would give the name and contact information of each location.
Jamie has typed that address into the chat. That's capital NPAonline.org. Is that correct, Greg?
That is correct.
Okay, we got it. Jamie, over to you.
Thank you, Jeannie. I don't see any hands or any more questions in the chat. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Chris and Greg for this wonderful presentation about the life programs. We definitely appreciate you stopping by.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. And if anybody has any questions that they think of later, you can always send us an email. We'll make sure the last slide is Jay's contact information at the state office so we could get that an answer for you. All right. So I did want to announce to everyone that our next meeting will be on February 21st, but that speaker will be determined at a later time. We are putting together a survey just to see what you all would like to see, any presentations that might be beneficial to you or your family members. So if you can please fill out our survey, we're hoping that it will only take about 3 minutes of your time. So if everyone can keep an eye on their email, we're hoping to have that out to everybody by the end of the week. So keep an eye out for that. And here is the contact information. If you have any follow-up questions, we can make sure we get those to our speakers. So you can send that to ltc-ombudsman@pa.gov, and then Jay will get that forwarded along. So thank you everyone for attending this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again. Remember, if you want to catch the replay, it is available on our Facebook page and our YouTube, and the direct links will be sent to you tomorrow morning. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you.